Alright guys, so in this video I'm going to be going over my favourite bar muscle up scaling option. This can be used as skill practice or even in a workout instead of doing the likes of a jumping bar muscle up. So this is your banded bar muscle up, but with two bands crossed over. So we want to set up the bands inside your hands, and then your left foot will go in the right band, right foot will go in the left band. And we want to start this movement with a simple straight arm pull down. So I'm going to teach you this step by step. So the straight arm pull down, we'll start off, and I want you to go into a hollow body position, and then from here we want to get a nice push down onto the bar, allowing your shoulders to come through and your chest to contact the bands in the bottom. The important thing about that is you're in one constant plane this way, so you're always going back and forward in that kind of 45-degree angle. Once you've got that down to a T, we want to start bringing the lower body into the equation. So for the bar muscle up, we need to do a raise of the feet into a pop of the hips. The difficult part is you're going to do that during the straight arm pull, which means we're now multitasking. So if you can get your hips to bar right, it's going to look like this. Without your hand coming off the bar. So during that movement, I'm pushing down nice and hard with the arms while I'm raising the feet and popping the hips. The bar muscle up is a leg driven movement, meaning that we need to get the legs or the feet or the knees really high before we initiate that hip pop. So if I only bring my feet to around here, you're going to see that my hips get nowhere near the bar. And that's because I'm doing the hip pop too early and I haven't got enough height this way by raising the legs and pushing down with the arms. So if I'm more patient, stronger with this, and get the feet higher, then it turns into this. So you should see a big difference there between the height of the feet and the aggressiveness on the pull down of the arm. Whenever you're contacting your hips off the bar here, or even getting them within a couple of inches, you can absolutely do a banded bar muscle up. So all we then do is, whenever you're popping your hips, we also initiate that turnover or pivot over the bar. So I'm going to do one more hips to bar, and then I'm going to do a muscle up, and you'll see how similar these two movements are. The whole start of that movement is exactly the same. The only thing where the bands will maybe get you into a wee bit of a trouble or get you a bit confused is when we're using the bands, you can't really go into a proper arch position, which is the only downfall of this drill. So at no point am I really bringing my feet back behind me, because in that case I would lose some of the resistance from the bands. So your arch position on the bands is slightly different. We're trying to keep the feet slightly out in front of the bar in order to keep tension from the bands and pretty much keep them helping you through the movement. So on these next couple of reps of the bar muscle up, just watch where my feet are whenever I'm in the arch position. Whereas if I was to bring my feet right back behind me into my true arch position, the bands wouldn't supply the same resistance. And the movement gets a lot harder. So keep the feet out in front, make sure you're getting your feet up nice and high, and lead with that aggressive straight arm pull down onto the bar. Resistance wise, I'm doing this with two blacks. If you need to make it easier, we can go for two purple bands. If you want to make it harder, you're going to go for two red bands. So give it a try.